Okay, in this video we're going to talk about the Changeling. This is from the second season of Star Trek: The Original Series. Stay with us. Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd, and when we talk about binary signals containing several channels all at once, it sounded very futuristic in this Star Trek episode back when it was first aired in 1967. But in 1967, you have to consider that mainframe computers, which took out half of a building, would do fairly simple tasks. I mean, certainly they did a lot of calculations and they could do some things faster than people could do when it came to mathematical functions and things such as that. But the idea that you could do several binary streams all at once sounded very science fiction-y, when in fact that's exactly how the internet works. In fact, how cell phones work, by sending out binary code in several channels all at once. It's kind of an interesting idea that actually came to be. I'm not certain that Star Trek had anything to do with it actually happening, but they were not bad in projecting what the possibilities were, I suppose. Anyway, what we have here is the probe Nomad, which they find out after much of the show goes by that it is a combination of two probes, one which was programmed to seek out life and another programmed to find soil samples and sterilize them. And by a combined mission, it was to seek out life and sterilize it. So what we have here is what they considered the bad parts of artificial intelligence. This is something that we're only grasping now as AI is starting to become more readily available. There are search engines now that employ that, and there's some talk of medical usage and things like that. But we found out some of the problems in just putting together a written article, that what it does is not always make sense. And that's also kind of foreshadowed in this episode. So beyond what the plot of this is, once again, we need to look and see how they did it. And I notice also unusual for a second season episode, it shows a number of extras that are in the corridors, at least in the early scenes. And this is something that is interesting. And also we see Uhura singing again. We haven't heard her sing since the first season ended. And while this is only like the third or fourth episode of the second season, I don't know that we see her sing much after this. And it may be because her memory was wiped. Now, the way they re-educated her, and while she's learning from the McGuffey reader or whatever they use in the 23rd century, she was able to still say it in Swahili, and I'm not certain that they taught her Swahili first. My guess is that the wipe of her memory was more of a education memory rather than a natural memory. So she would still be able to understand who she was and perhaps had personal memories, but just not anything useful to running a starship. So they re-educated her in that way. And by the end of the episode, had her college level. So that shows your good old 23rd century engineering. All you need is a hospital bed, some microtapes, and a nurse. Nomad kills Scotty, but then is able to repair him. They don't really know how that was done because Nomad didn't have any hands. He was also able to increase the efficiency of the Enterprise's warp engines to bring it up to warp 11, although Kirk said that the structure of the ship could not handle that much power. What that meant, we don't know, and probably they didn't either. Then we have Spock doing a mind meld. This is the first time that we know of, not the last one, that he did a mind meld with a non-life form. And this goes to show that Spock could do a mind meld with a 2x4 and get something out of it. So, that may speak to someone like Marie Kondo, but I don't know that it makes a whole lot of sense when you think about it. The only thing that I found that really dated the episode was when Nomad sorted out Uhura's mind and said that it wasn't very orderly and had a lot of contradictions. And they answered it with saying, well, she's a woman. And that certainly is one of those other 60s backhand compliments that said that women just don't have organized minds like men. Certainly not like Spock, and you can understand why they thought his mind was orderly. But I kind of wonder how he's able to read minds. And if he was able to read minds, how he didn't know from the very beginning that Kirk was pulling a ruse on him by identifying himself as the creator. And also, that's all he would have had to have done at the end of this was just basically tell Kirk, well, that wasn't really a mistake. That was a error in human programming, and therefore I'm still perfect and you're all dead. But then the show would have gone very far after that, would it? I noticed that when they first showed Uhura in the point of view of Nomad, she's in soft focus. This is another one of those things that they seem to want to do anytime that they show a woman in a one shot, she goes into soft focus. They don't do that with any other character. So I find that kind of interesting. Certainly she wasn't being seen as a romantic possibility to Nomad. So that's the Changeling, our original series retro review for this week. I hope you will continue to watch us as we will continue to do these reviews. We have the Mirror Universe featured next week, and down the line we're going to get to my absolute favorite episode. So we hope that you'll stick around. If you subscribe right now and also like the channel, and if you there's something else that you can do, so please subscribe and like the channel, and that way you'll know when there will be new episodes coming down, that you would not miss us, and we hope that you won't miss us. So until next time, don't go far.